Unfortunately, this next story is it's a whole new genre recently. This is the second time we're covering a story that's exactly like this. Substitute teacher charged with a felony for receiving 6 months of health insurance through Medicaid. A felony to receive 6 months of health insurance through Medicaid. Her name is Janine Monta, and she lives in Wyoming. She's accused of collecting $5,526 in benefits from Medicaid. Now, here's the story. She was a substitute teacher, and at the time, she wasn't making that much money. She was on Medicaid. I believe it was a year later. She got a job teaching at a charter school. I think it was full-time, although not 100% sure. So her income level went up because she was a substitute, and then she's teaching like a normal schedule at a charter school. And she didn't update her income showing that she was making more. And somebody tipped off the authorities or whatever. They looked into it, and now she's facing felony charges for getting health care through Medicaid because she started making too much to receive the Medicaid, but she still received Medicaid and got $5,520 worth of benefits. So the previous story was a woman who was getting Medicaid through Tennessee. She lived just over the border. She lied about like where she lived or her income level or something. And the reason she did it is because she couldn't afford health care for her 3 kids. So she got health care in Tennessee for her 3 kids, and that's a felony, and she faced up to 27 years in jail. Now, will she get that much? No. But the fact that we're even discussing any time in jail for getting health care, this is one of those things where I don't have the words to sufficiently describe how barbaric this is, how evil this is, how savage this is, how ridiculous this is. I don't have the words for it. But I keep thinking of somebody in the UK or Canada or Australia or Japan, like looking at these stories. What are they thinking? We've made it a felony to get health care in this country. You got it through Medicaid, but you made a little bit too much. Or you got it through Medicaid, but you technically lived over the border and you can't get it in this state. Felonies. Time in prison. Why are these people doing this? It's not rocket science. They're doing it because they can't afford health care. Our system is a mess. Yes, if you're an old person, you get Medicare. If you're very poor, you get Medicaid. But there's plenty of people who make a little bit more than that Medicaid line, and they really can't afford health care, and they don't get it through their employers. They're just screwed. Which is why, in this country, medical bills is one of the top causes of bankruptcy. It's also why anywhere from 45,000 to 60,000 Americans die every year because they don't have basic health care. It's a felony to get health care. A felony. You might go to jail because you don't have health care and you wanted health care, and so you found a way to get health care, which somewhat eased the burden on you. This is our system. Now, I really want you to think about priorities in this conversation, because that just gives away the whole game. So we have just endless amounts of money to fight wars and for the Pentagon budget. Every year, we increase it billions and billions of dollars. Every year. Just read a story the other day. The Navy wants to increase the number of ships we have. They want a 500 fleet Navy. Nobody blinked. Nobody was like, how are we going to pay for that? Nobody said that. Nobody said that in regards to the bailout of corporations in the CARES Act. The multi-trillion-dollar giveaway to these companies. So we have endless amounts of money for bailing out giant corporations and for war. But God forbid you get health care through Medicaid and you make just a little bit too much. You'll go to prison. You know who should go to prison? The Wall Street criminals. You know who should go to prison? The heads of the military-industrial complex, the so-called defense contractors. The politicians who are corrupt and doing their bidding and screwing regular Americans. These are the people who should be in prison. You're going to send somebody to prison for getting health care because they can't afford it, and so they found a way. Prison. Just the increase in the military budget in 1 year, 2018, 1 year, was $80 billion. Free college for everybody costs $60 billion. Not a single person said, how are we going to afford the $80 billion increase in the military budget? Nobody said that. So it's all about priorities. We don't prioritize what other developed countries prioritize. And actually, that's not fair. The people do prioritize it. Americans do prioritize it, but our government doesn't. Because our government doesn't represent us. Totally bought and owned by corporate America and billionaires. And that's how we've gotten to this place. Every single poll I see verifies that the common sense agenda is what people want. They want Medicare for all. They want free college. They want a living wage. They want to end the wars. They want to rebuild this country. All the polls show it. All of them. They want universal basic income. That's a new one with the onset of the pandemic and the depression we're in. People want universal basic income. You name the issue, the so-called left position is the common sense position that everybody wants. Not only are we not getting it, we're also locking people up for doing something like finding a way to get health care in a broken economy and in a broken system. There's no way to express the sufficient amount of outrage you should have for this story. It's not possible. I don't know how to portray it. I don't know how to get across the seething rage I feel at reading a story like this. And we're going to see more of this. There's going to be more of this. There's going to be more. I found these 2 stories in the past week or 2. People going to prison for, or going to be charged with felony getting health care. Throw them all out, man. I think it's time for a general strike, and we know what should be on the list of the demands, but this is beyond unacceptable, and I think everybody agrees to it, no matter where they fall on the political spectrum. The only people who don't agree to this are corrupt tools of the system.